Our next guest is the Executive Director of the Women's City Club of New York. Joins us today for a preview of her work towards equality. We're pleased and proud to welcome Jacqueline Ebanks to the show.
Thank you so much. It is a pleasure to be here.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
All right.
Great.
So we heard a little bit about what you're doing, but why don't you let us know, tell us about some of your work.
Well, first, let me say the Women's City Club of New York is a diverse and multi-generational network of women dedicated to shaping public policy to improve the quality of life for all New Yorkers. And as our founders did 100 years ago, and this is our centennial year this year.
Oh, look at that. I didn't know.
We continue to advocate for economic, gender, and racial equality. And our goal really is that all New Yorkers should achieve economic stability, enjoy equal access to the opportunities that make them successful, and live safely in their communities. So we have been working recently and focusing on providing information about low and no-cost services to communities and to individuals in needs. And we have produced some guides to resources and services where we list hundreds of nonprofits across the 5 boroughs within each borough. And we're really proud to say that at the end of September, the Bronx citywide guide will be available. So.
Resources and services. Right. So tell us about it.
Well, what we thought was during the recession, many services were cut, but need was increasing. However, we felt it was critically important still to connect those in need with those limited services.
To a number of nonprofit
organizations. And to a number of nonprofit organizations. And so we identified over 600 in the Bronx, and it's by no means exhaustive. And we have identified hundreds in other boroughs as well. And it ranges from looking for aftercare service, after-school services, housing services, immigration services, just so that we connect people within community to these resources.
So this is all of this information is in the guides that you publish?
All of this is in the guides that we publish. And we publish them borough by borough.
Borough by borough.
Right now, and we have them in print and online. So if you visit wccny.org, you will see the citywide guide, and it's a searchable database. But we also have them in print. And you can call our office at 212-353-8070, and we'll be happy to mail a guide to you.
And this is all for non-traditional services? I mean, the services that you normally get are not there. You can go to the nonprofits, and that will be in the guide.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
And that's where we are. The other thing that I want to share is that we're actually focused on having deeper discussions about inequities.
How deep?
And how, well, so deep that we're going to have a day-long conference in September 29th, at the New York Academy of Medicine, which is on 5th Avenue. And the really important thing is that we don't want to just identify the problems or describe the problems. We're talking about solutions. And there are nonprofits in communities that have worked on solutions for decades. And we have executive directors there to share those solutions with us.
I like that, because all too often we go to a lot of these meetings and we talk about the problems, but people leave out of it. Well, what
are we going to do? Right.
What's the next thing? I mean, how do we get to the root of this problem and get, eradicate it?
And that's exactly what our members said. And we had to recognize, as our founders did 100 years ago, there are changes. And so there are solutions. Probably the biggest challenge we have with the solutions is that they benefit very few people, and we need to also discuss how can we ensure that they benefit more individuals. And that's really key. So, it's a journey that no one organization can go on. We're calling the conference From Inequality to Equality, Policies and Programs That Work. And so it's really important that we have groups of individuals having this discussion across the city and working together. So we hope the conference will also enable people to facilitate collaboration.
Yes.
We have capacity for 400 people, so everyone's invited. There's a small fee, and again, visit our website. The fee should not be a barrier, so if you have difficulty making the fee, call the office and we'll help to ensure you can be there.
Okay. What do you hope to accomplish in terms of civic engagement?
When our organization was founded, women didn't have the right to vote. women couldn't work. And we see now, 100 years later, that we are on the verge of, we have one party nominating for the first time a woman for president. That's tremendous progress. But there are 100 million more glass ceilings to be broken. And we want to make sure that the change that we have gained is maintained, but that there are other areas that we continue to move on. The importance of pay equity for women, that women must earn equal for comparable work to men. We also want to ensure that we deal with the health disparities that so very often negatively impact women of color and also families of color. We want to make sure as well that we talk about this work-life balance in such a way that women and men and people in same-sex families can work and enjoy family life as well. So there are many issues that we have to continue to move on, and those are the successes that we hope to achieve as an organization.
So within this conference, you're going to be talking about a lot of those things?
Within this conference, we're going to look at healthcare issues, we're going to look at employment, we're looking at housing and homelessness, and we're looking at education. Again, this is a great equalizer. We want to look at education from UPK through college. And we have 5 areas of focus at the Women's City Club: good government, health, housing and homelessness, income inequality, and public education. They all work together to ensure that we have, as individuals, opportunities to thrive. And I think it's really important in this city, where unfortunately we continue to have the greatest disparity between high income earners and low wage earners, but it's also the city with such opportunity that we really should take advantage of it and create the change that we talk about so much.
All right, well, with all those things that you put together, what do you hope to accomplish? What will people leave?
One of the things that we want to ensure that we accomplish is that women's voices are present at all tables, that women are seen as critical and vital parts to making this city run. And so we want to ensure that they are leaders in the public sector, that they are leaders in private sector, and that they continue to be visible in their leadership. And that's really critical. So we hope that at WCC, we provide a platform for this.
And finally, how important is this election to your organization?
Every election is important to our organization. It is really critical that people go out to vote. This is a momentous year, absolutely, but we want to make sure that it's not just about this election, but every election that happens, our local elections, our statewide elections, really critical. People go out to vote, and I also want to encourage folks to consider being poll workers. On that day of the election is one of the hardest jobs, and those folks are guardians of our democracy on that day. We should really sign up as citizens, become informed and engaged. And I'm so proud to say I signed up and got trained, and I'm just waiting for them to call me so that I'll be a poll worker.
And don't forget, it's not only the general election, there's an election coming up September the 13th
we
Senate
have our Senate primary,
and
Assembly.
Senate and Assembly
Absolutely.
on the 13th. So make sure you get out there and exercise.
Great.
Your right to vote.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Give her a big round of applause, everybody.
Pleasure to be here.
Jacqueline Ebanks, Executive Director, Women's City Club of New York. Thank you so much for coming in, all right?
Thank you.
You're a wealth of information.
Glad to be here.
All right, we have to take a quick break, but coming up next, we'll learn about a movement to bring healthy food to urban areas. But first, St. Barnabas Hospital held an event to showcase the importance of reading to our youth. Let's take a look.